Okay, so what for for what it's worth, my dogs are kind of assholes. Not this one so much. This little precious baby. Her brother totally, because he just like scratched the shit out of my face, left a welt, and this morning he head butted me. See, this one's sweet. Yeah. Okay, thank you. um, and Ziva, I think she had to have Taz's help, but she got some shit off the stove today. There was a container that had like 4 cinnamon rolls in it. One of those plastic containers from like Walmart or Aldi's or one of those. And a pack of Hawaiian rolls while we were gone. And she totally ate them all. I'm going to say Taz is the taller one, so he probably had to help her, but he doesn't feel near as fat as she does. Like, she is very, very plump over there. You can't really see her, but she definitely helped herself to what was on the stove. And there were, I want to say there were probably 2 to 4 cinnamon rolls in it left. It was an 8-pack originally. But none now. I didn't even see that she had gotten into that. I saw the package of Hawaiian rolls that was destroyed all over the place. But I didn't see the other thing until I realized the plastic from the Hawaiian rolls was in the living room, and then next to that was where the plastic container that had the cinnamon rolls in it was it. So, yes, that's today's drama. Taz headbutted me this morning. And I don't know that it's going to bruise, but I still have a sore spot like right through there. It was... Gidge was getting fussy. So I opened the door to see if she had to go outside. It was just a bedroom door. They can figure out the rest on their own because they have a dog door. But... got this foot on my face now. They all went out at one point, out of the room. And then as they came back, she got back on the bed. Taz laid down on Ziva's bed. I was still in bed. And when Ziva came back, I was running through my meditations and all that. When Ziva came back in, I put her up on the bed with me. I figured before she liked to lay on the heating pad, and I had a heating pad on, so I figured maybe she would appreciate that, and she liked it until the heating pad shut off, and then she got on the floor and started digging the crap out of another dog bed that's down there. She gets really pissy when Taz steals her spot, and he had done that. So I went to get him to move, and I was trying to mess with him, just kind of get him so he was awake and aware that that was getting ready to happen, and he just went cracked me in the head with his head, and it hurt a lot. But like I said, I don't know that it'll bruise or anything, but I definitely still feel it. So if nothing else, it was annoying. She now has her foot behind my head, so I'm not really sure what this is all about. But here we are. Today we went out to lunch with my dad's side of the family for Thanksgiving. And I mean, it wasn't real super exciting, but I like that side of the family so long as they don't start talking about political bullshit, because we very much do not have the same same viewpoints on that end, or like religion as another one. But we weren't talking about any of that today, so like, well, the conversations that we were having were pretty good. I ended up sitting by the younger sister, the one that is fourth in the line of all the kids. And a little bit later, I went over and sat next to the second to youngest brother's wife. She's the one that gave me the sound bowl. So I showed her a picture of Buddha when he was all excited when I was playing it, and he got really into it. And we were talking about. She's probably one of my favorites at this point in time because we usually talk more about like the spiritual stuff. She's into the rocks. Part of today's conversation was she had this necklace that had an obsidian ball on it, and I asked if it was obsidian because I do have one of those. The other one I used to have. I gave it to Gracie. When we took her to some museum when she was like 3 or 4, and she was starting to get real overwhelmed with just all the confusion of being there and all the different energies that were there. And so I took my necklace off and put it on her to see if it would help, and it seemed to help. So that one became hers, and then I got another one, but since it's just the ball, I ended up with the obsidian yin yang, which I prefer anyway. So that's my go-to. But anyway, we were talking about the rocks, and she really wants to take me along to Michigan with her when she goes sometime to go rock hunting and pull the rocks out of the water. And I showed her, we were talking about tumbling stones, and she said something about it takes like a couple months to actually tumble them in the machine or whatever. And I said, my process is just to have multiples in my pocket together, and they bump each other. So that's kind of the process of my tumbling my river rocks. But when I pulled this one out, I said it's one of my favorites because it looks like a little tank. And she said, ooh, that's agate. It's like, is it? It's like, I don't know. But I just find them in like any places that have a bunch of river rocks. If there are ones that grab my attention, usually like around the school, and their landscaping stuff around the trees in the parking lots, or to the park or the library, just wherever I find a pretty rock, it's like, that one wants to come with me. So I have a nice little stash of rocks. And I've talked about that many times. I have my, I just have rocks in my space. I like them. Like the windowsill. This is my bedroom, so I'm not going to show all of them because it's dark. But these, I just have a big stash of them that are just hanging out on my windowsill. And it makes me happy. And I think it helps. I've talked about that before too. It's like a means of grounding for me since I have like all this water in my chart and like no earth placements. So, I find other way to bring earth into my space, right? Of course, water is grounding for me, so I go through spans of time where I take lots of baths, because that's kind of one of my go-tos, or the pool, or I used to go to the golf when we were in Alabama a lot, and plants and all that fun stuff. She's kind of distracting me since she's just laying there being all cute. And I hear a little tail flip. She of a morning, she starts moaning at me. Just, that. Like when she wants attention. She got pissed when I put Ziva on the bed because that's supposed to be the time that she gets more attention, and Ziva's not supposed to get attention. But then Ziva was on the bed, so the sister jealousy time. But here we are. So I sold the TV yesterday, which means today I bought bird food finally. So they're not just going to have to live on the wild bird food. We got like, I don't know, a month or so of pellets. So hopefully by the time we get close to running out on that, we will be able to buy more. We'll be fine. But we'll see how that goes. I don't know. One thing I was thinking about yesterday, I mentioned how, it seemed like the guy was kind of scrounging to come up with the money because he wanted the TV so much, right? And then he wanted me to bring it to him because he said that he thinks the back end of his truck's going out, and he didn't trust it to make the drive out here to get the TV. And so he offered to pay me money to, go out there and take it to him. And it worked out fine. But, like I was talking about how it seemed like he was struggling a bit to come up with the money because there was just like there was a lot of ones and a whole lot of change. Like this container that said $5.50 on it. 11. I don't know that there was $5.50 in it because I ended up as I was leaving, I drove past this homeless guy with a sign. I just felt the urge to give him the change in this container. And okay, so this is a dumb thing that I've kind of been kicking myself for, but an example of my brain panicking, right? So I had this idea that I decided I'm going to give this guy the change in the door, right? Now, it's dusk, the sun wasn't really out yesterday. It was kind of overcast all day, but it was kind of getting dark. And I got stopped at the stoplight, and he was walking in the little median area. And there's cars coming up behind me as I'm deciding to get the money, or get this little change container and give it to him. Y'all, I panicked when the light turned green, and I'm in the process of handing this thing out the door or out the window, and then also there's these cars coming up behind me, and then all at once, like, I just tossed it at the guy, and I've been kicking myself ever since. But it was like my brain panicked in that moment between the light turning green and there's this car coming up behind me. But also at the same time, I wasn't going to give him to him sooner because I didn't want to like have a conversation or anything at that point in time. But just the brain panic. And then I tossed this thing, and it's a plastic container, and it wasn't closed good. And then I felt really bad because some of the change fell out, and I apologized to the guy, and he's like, no, that's okay. Thank you. It's like, I feel like an ass because I just like threw it at him, and then had the realization that that was a bad idea because my brain panicked. Because then change goes everywhere. Like, I don't think it, like, because it was a gentle toss, so it definitely opened. Like, I don't think all the change all of it came out by any means. But still, I've been kind of kicking myself for that little brain panic ever since. Didn't mention it yesterday, but it's been bothering me today, so I figured I'd go ahead and mention it now. But yeah, this is a little stupid thing that I did because my brain glitched and I panicked. And I don't know, I kind of feel like it's one of those things too. Like after I do something stupid like that, I feel like the next time I go into a situation as such, where if I have a plastic container of change, I might have the thought of, don't toss it, it'll open. But yeah, it did not happen in that moment, and so I've been feeling like an ass. But anyway, I don't know how much was in it, but I'm gonna take the guy's word for it that it was $5.50. Because it was like, there were several quarters and all sorts of different, all sorts of change in there, right? But I'm just gonna have to take his word for it because I never checked, and then I just ended up giving it to some random guy on the street. So, and not doing so in a great way. But it is what it is. Hi. um, yeah. What else happened? No, we're not doing that right now. She's been kind of miffed because she hasn't gotten to do her thing near as much as she wanted to. She had a toy that she kept throwing at me. I don't know where it went. She probably has it on the bed with her. But I'm not trying to say that word either, because look at the look at her paying attention. I had a dream this morning that the rescue dog came back. We still have not heard anything. Oh, that's another thing. We haven't heard anything from any legitimate sources. However, last night my mom had somebody try to scam her. He said, "I have your dog." Well, he's an assumption. He says, "I have your dog." And she says, "Great, I'd love to come get it." And they're like, "Well, just give me your address and I'll bring it to you." It's like, They went back and forth a little bit, and it amounted to they did not have the dog and they were just trying to get money out of her. But like one of the things they said, quit whining in my ear. I'm not done yet. Quit whining. Thank you. At one point they just said, "Trust me." And I took her phone and I was like, "Why should I trust you? Because of our extensive relationship of you trying to scam me out of money while you don't actually have my dog." And I said, like, "Karma is watching," and I put like the little eyes emoji on there. And they never said anything else. But yeah, so that was the thing that happened. It was just kind of aggravating that, something like that comes up, and then just the way some people respond with, "Ooh, money." But yeah, and I still maintain, like, when I mentioned that to my mom when we were going to meet the family for the thing today, I said that I had the dream and that we got her back. And she said, "Well, I still think we'll get her back." But then listening to her talking to some of my aunts and uncles, she's still talking like, we may not, and I feel like somebody has her, so we might never see her again. This kind of stuff. It's like, but you just said in the car that you think we'll get her back. But then you're still kind of milking this possibility of not getting her back while we're, with other people. So yeah. What else happened? I don't know. I really have nothing else, I guess. I was watching this video yesterday. It's one of those Twin Flames things, and it was like, Twin Flames reunion or something. I was talking about the last 3 days of November being this sort of divine isolation period. And it's like, it feels really accurate considering, like all the stuff I've been talking about the past few days. Like, I feel like the way things have kind of come together with, like, just a few days ago, I wake up and I'm thinking about how am I going to get some money to get the birds food and other things. And then, at the time also about how I was going to pay the storage unit. And then as I was sitting there thinking about it, it's like, I think it's time to let go of the storage unit. She's like, she needs to be in the picture, not with her head cut off. So I decided to move my stuff out of the storage unit and just let that go, right? so then I don't have to worry about the money on that end. And that ended up being a really good thing. And it's one of those things, it's like, for the last few days, it has been immensely helpful in giving me something else to do. It's kind of, busy work, while I guess I'm in this sort of liminal space, this in-between space, and not really having a lot of clarity on what's next, but just kind of going day to day and, moment to moment, really. So like one of the first things I did when I got everything moved out was figure out where it's going to go, right? I still got a whole lot of work to do in this room, because I moved this one nightstand right here, and it's just in the middle of the room. It's going to go in the office, but I haven't moved it there yet. Also got to find a vacuum cleaner that works, because there's bird food everywhere, like the wild bird seeds and whatnot. But so I've been working on trying to organize some stuff and find more stuff to purge, and I found more stuff that I could sell. I've sold 2 of those little storage containers that have the drawers on it, like the 3 drawers, and I'm looking at another one. So I was thinking yesterday, it's like, I could clean that out and sell that as well. But there was one in the closet in the office that I went ahead and cleaned out and posted it to, since those seem to go pretty well. Haven't had anybody contact me about it so far, but it's there. So just like seeing the stuff in my space and seeing what I can realistically let go of, what I don't need to have or keep for any purpose. Sure, it served its purpose for a time, but we don't need to keep everything. The one thing I'm kind of disappointed in is I can't find my fiber optic Christmas trees, 2222. I have 2 of them. They're white, and they have fiber optic lights that kind of change colors. They might be in this closet in here, so that might be something I do next. But I don't know. However, I do have some work to do. So I'm kind of thinking, since I would like to have the trees, I feel like if they're not in this closet, they're probably in the biggest container in the office closet. And I opened it and didn't see them in the top of it and wasn't in the mood to dig. So I just kind of like let the idea go. But of course, I was kind of hoping that I might come up with another situation rather than still being here at this point or at this time this year. I talked about potentially relocating and moving in with my brother's family out in Oklahoma for a little while. Obviously, that hasn't happened, and I don't know that that's my best course of action either. So I'm still here going through shit and trying to get rid of more. But it was an idea. And if nothing else, it allowed me to lose track of my Christmas trees. I knew exactly where they were for the longest time, and then I, was like, well, I don't need them here, so I'll put them out in the storage unit. And I was pretty confident that they were in the cedar chest that I had at the storage unit. But then when I got over there and went to grab them out, it's like, nope. I do have Christmas lights in there, but they're like, they're more party lights. I don't think they actually do Christmas colors so much. I've had them on like this aqua blue color or like this magenta-y kind of color. So, I don't know. But, yeah. Anyway, I don't really have a whole lot to talk about today, 444. So, I'm thinking I go ahead and wrap this up and then go be productive, because that needs to happen. whether for the trees or for the sake of just getting stuff further organized. Oh, the divine isolation thing. I feel like this has been like the idea of moving everything back and then reorganizing it so my stuff is in my space rather than allowing my mom's stuff to be in my space, just keeping me from having all my stuff together, because that's basically all it amounted to. She wanted her stuff to stay in the closet because it was out of sight, out of mind. She didn't have to worry about it. But then my stuff was everywhere else. So then, you know, she could look at the stuff that was in the other rooms, and it was my stuff, so she could see that I was the problem, right? I have too much junk and all this stuff. Whereas me shifting her stuff out to put my stuff in the closet has made her have to realize that she has a lot of shit that she needs to go through too. So the bonus perk is with the closet, there was a lot of like blankets and stuff in there, and one of her longtime friends, I think her church has some thing they do for the homeless where they just like collect all sorts of blankets and whatnot. So we have a nice stash for them, but we gotta put them together somewhere so like this heathen right here doesn't end up laying in it, because he's a butthead and we'll do it, and he's gonna be a pain in my ass now, so but he's been an ass today anyway. The headbutt and the scratching my face seems like it's not welted like it was before. So yeah, anyway, we're gonna wrap it up. And she's already ready. she's getting used to shorter ones now, but it's still, I say things, and you know, she's used to how we end these now. So when I say, as always, I appreciate you, and until the next time, see ya.